everybody. You're listening to the Wife Wednesday podcast. It's Wednesday and I'm one of your wives, Cena.
And I'm Nicole.
Wife Wednesday podcast is a podcast that we created as a hobby and it has now become an exciting journey for self-discovery. ... But really, we're just two women who talk about anything and everything. So come hang out with us. Hi, everybody. You're listening to the Wife Wednesday podcast. It's Wednesday, and I'm one of your wives, Cena. And today, we have my very favorite, very special guest, my dad, Patrick. Everybody say hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. So, we have a saying, grab your fries, it's ketchup time. What's been going on, Dad? How are you?
Well, I am, so I guess that's great.
This episode is going to be our first episode in December, which is officially is Christmas month for me. And I know for you, liturgically and religiously, you've already started your pre-Christmas your preparations.
Right. We are in what's known in the Byzantine Church as the Philippovka, or the St. Philip's Fast, which begins 40 days before Christmas. It begins the day after the feast of St. Philip the Apostle. And what we do is begin a period of fasting and preparation for the feast of the incarnation of the Son of God. We prepare ourselves spiritually for this great celebration of God coming among us.
Thank you for explaining that so wonderfully. That was just, I've always loved, so my dad, it's no secret, I was homeschooled, and my dad was my Sunday school teacher. You've taught me everything I know, you and my mother. And I've always loved, and of course, when we butted heads, hated when you were my teacher. But what I loved was the way you explained things. You've always made things relatable and understandable.
Well, thank you.
I'm such a daddy's girl.
Here's your dollar.
Don't worry, I do it for free, but I will take money. So this week, I haven't really had too much going on in the way of anything other than work. We're recording this the day before Thanksgiving. So we're both getting ready for the Christmas spirit to kick off. We're on the countdown. Andrew and I were talking about putting up our Christmas tree next Friday, but then I was like, oh wait, I work and I have D&D, no time Friday. So it might be this weekend at some point. You know, I figure as long as I don't put my nativities out yet, I'm okay to put up my Christmas tree in my home in my beautiful front picture window. I see your face.
Yeah, I know. Here I go thinking again. You know, I have mixed feelings about that.
I know. I remember everybody. So everyone else in school would be like, oh, we decorated for Christmas. We went and did this, blah, 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 blah. No, you want to know what our Christmas preparations were? Well, first, like the week of Christmas, like right before Christmas, that's when we would start the cleaning. And everyone, like grown, everyone knows that they do it before big holidays. You got to do like the dust the cobwebs and, wipe the windowsills, those weird ones. Because you're like, oh, people are coming over. And even though they come over all the time anyways, I want them to know this is like a special time.
Right. Because you're not really cleaning for them.
No, you're cleaning for yourself. Exactly.
You're not cleaning even for yourselves. You're cleaning for God.
For Christmas.
For Christmas. Yeah. You're cleaning.
It's like a spiritual thing.
It is a spiritual thing. You're not only preparing something. Your souls, it's inward and outward. You're doing everything. You're cleaning your inward and outward. everything.
It makes me think of, I know I quoted it the last time you were on the show, St. Francis. Um, what's his quote? Preach the gospel at all times.
If
When
necessary,
use
use words.
So I guess to relate two thoughts together. So funny thing, other than, as I was saying, like work, I've been talking about in the last few episodes. I feel like this is my first grown-up girl job. We're not going to say where I work, but
Right.
Especially since a couple of my coworkers are actually going to listen to the show, and I hope they listen to this one or the new one that's actually dropping right now. It just dropped, which is kind of cool. We're recording while our new episode's airing. I don't know. Normally I have something like fun to fill people in on, and I just don't really think I have anything to say.
Well,
do you remember if anything exciting has happened, Dad? We hang out all the time.
Not exciting. I actually got to go to choir practice last week, which was I haven't got to do in a long time, mainly because I haven't had a ride to get there, but
insert cheering.
Yay!
And we haven't had book club.
And we haven't had book club, which we should be able to do over the next several days.
Yeah, we should. I have to do my reading, but I'll do that today, Dad. I promise.
That today, because Therese and I have actually read.
Therese read?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I will definitely read.
Yeah.
It won't take me too long. It'll be a night.
Imagine
I think
that your sister read.
Yeah. Talking about what we did earlier, maybe it'll be good for me to read.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready to announce what this episode's about.
Okay, because we are definitely preparing for this
yes,
at our church.
So I invited you on to talk about Saint Nicholas
because which is the name of our church.
Yes, you can say that. You can advertise that. I asked you to talk about it because a lot of people don't know about Saint Nicholas and like the meaning, like who Saint Nicholas was. And I remember always like talking when we went to public school, when we were no longer in, Catholic school. When I would talk to other kids, it'd be like, oh, did you guys get candy in your shoes last night? And they're like, what? What? And I'm like, what do you mean you didn't get candy in your shoes? What do you mean you didn't go to church? Like, not everyone went to church. But no one knew who Saint Nick was, or the really cool part, the fun part, the shoes. So I wanted to invite you on to talk about him because you've always played Saint Nick and you've played Santa Claus. In fact, I remember you playing Santa Claus at an Applebee's, and all the waitresses were like, "Oh, tee hee hee hee,"
Yes, and how many of them would come sit on my lap for the picture and tee hee hee?
Yes,
want to kiss my cheek and
tee hee
hee because I didn't need a beard.
No, it was a real beard. Everyone always pulled on your beard.
Yes, they did. Well, let's see. St. Nicholas was a real person. Many people don't know that.
Just so you guys know, my dad brought a whole book with him with a copy for myself.
Which she didn't remember was actually hers from catechism.
Trauma blocking, Dad.
Oh, it wasn't that bad, and you know it. I was your teacher. St. Nicholas was born, and I'm reading right from this book.
This book is...
it was published by the Greek Catholic Union.
And the book is called St. Nicholas of... Is it Myra?
Myra.
By Michael Roman, the GCU honorary editor, and the Knight of St. Gregory the Great.
And this man is deceased now. And in our church, we would say Bichnaya Pamyat, which means eternal memory. Not that we have eternal memory, but that God always has eternal memory of his saints.
I just wanted to announce that quick.
St. Nicholas was born in the second half of the third century in Patara, a city in Lycia of Asia Minor. His wealthy parents, Theophan and Nona, were very pious and religious and hoped their son would follow their example of true Christian living. Shortly after the birth of Nicholas, the God-loving parents noticed the appearance of a miracle in their son. According to legend, the newly born child Nicholas stood erect on his feet for 3 hours during the baptismal ceremony. The parents beamed with happiness over this miracle and felt that God had given them a very holy son. Nicholas was still in his swaddling clothes when he began fasting. On Wednesdays and Fridays, he abstained from breastfeeding until the evenings on those days.
I know it's very serious, but I want to giggle.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's a legend.
Yes, that part, that's the legend.
That is a legend. But, could it be true? We don't know.
This is what's said about his past.
Right.
All right. So, why is St. Nicholas important in the church? Like, what went on? He became a priest. What
historical things we know for certain about St. Nicholas? Well, he did become a priest.
He became a priest.
He became a bishop and an archbishop. He was present at the first council of Nicaea when it was called by the Emperor Constantine, because there were two great factions going on within the Christian church at the time.
What time was that?
This would have been in the year 325.
Okay.
And the two great thoughts were the Trinitarian Christian belief, which had existed from the beginning, and the thoughts of a priest from Alexandria. Excuse me, I need to wet my throat.
I did too. I was like, my mouth is so dry.
Named Arius. And Arius taught that there was no way that Jesus could be of one essence with the Father. He could not be
part of the Trinity.
There could not
be a Trinity.
Right, that there could not be a Trinity.
Because he was born.
Right.
Okay.
He could not be God incarnate.
Which is what the church teaches.
Arius went on a rant. He got up on a chair and was ranting and yelling about this. And St. Nicholas had enough. And St. Nicholas was a very kind and gentle person. I mean, if you know anything, I'll go back about why we put things in shoes and why that's associated with them. But St. Nicholas became so angry at Arius for not seeing reason and just ranting. He stood there and just yelled like someone possessed, that he went up and slapped him, like punched him